Thursday, everybody. Happy Go Red 2021. Aspen, Lindsay. Hi, Lisa Paget. Hey,
Welcome.
Renee Kunzer.
In the house, love it. Welcome.
And Faith in the house. So is Shelly Patrick. Hey, girl. William Roberts, we see you.
All your heart.
Hi, I'm Star Jones, National Volunteer of the American Heart Association. Ladies, I want you to listen up. Cardiovascular disease is not just an old white dude's disease. Heart disease and stroke can affect any woman at any age. That's why it's vitally important for all women to take charge of and prioritize our own heart health. And let's encourage our mothers and our daughters and our sisters and girlfriends to do the same. Go Red for Women empowers women to get healthy because together there's nothing women can't achieve.
My name is Tish Anderson. I lead a commercial operations team at Stryker Corporation, but I am also the daughter of a stroke survivor. I have the great honor to serve as the Southwest Michigan Go Red for Women chair for this year. Like many of you in our virtual audience, my life has been touched by heart disease or stroke. My mother experienced a debilitating stroke that, looking back with the information I now have, was certainly predictable and very likely preventable. Driven by the hope that education and prevention can keep other women and other families from experiencing such a devastating outcome, I decided to become a volunteer with the American Heart Association. And what an inspiring, impactful, and amazing family I have found in this organization. We are making a difference in the heart health of our community. Our Go Red for Women executive leadership team draws engaged and inspired volunteer leaders from within our community. I would like to introduce you to this amazing group and give them a heartfelt thank you as they have dedicated their time, energy, and passion to this event and to our mission. We also have Circle of Red and Core Vitae Giving Society members with us today. These individuals make an annual personal investment to the Go Red for Women movement, and we thank you for that crucial support for our initiatives. Our Circle of Red group is one of the most robust in the entire country, and I personally thank you for your engagement with the AHA mission. For those of you who aren't members yet, we'll have information coming later in the program about how you too can get involved. As we move through our program today, we will hear the compelling voice and learn the inspiring personal story of a survivor. We will give you opportunities to help support our mission. Our program theme today centers on where we have been and where we're going. Women's history is full of trailblazers. Susan B. Anthony, Sojourner Truth, Amelia Earhart, Rosa Parks, and countless other women who came before us. We have a trailblazer in cardiac research joining us today too, Dr. Michelle Albert. The theme this year is Women Make History Again. With so much to look forward to, it's time to move ahead with Go Red. Now, watch me go red.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2021 Kalamazoo Go Red for Women digital experience. I'm Morgan Poole, a lifestyle reporter for WIT TV 8 and WOTV for Women, and it is an honor to serve as a co-MC today and to be able to join you all in supporting a fantastic cause.
Thanks, Morgan. Hi, everybody. I'm Cassie Goodban.
I handle key employee benefit relationships at Kaiser Insurance Group, but most notably, I am a mom to what some of you might call a sassy little 6-year-old. However, I call her a woman with executive leadership skills. Can we raise her up, please? So we are, like Morgan said, so excited to be here with you all today. And of course, our first choice would have been to be with you in a room full of red, but we are honored to be here with you at the Go Red for Women digital experience.
We sure are, Cassie. And let's be honest, everyone, we have a chance to wear our red and to share the power of going red. And today we have an inspiring keynote speaker joining us and a rare chance to be with an AHA chef. And now I don't know about you, but I think this beats a regular Zoom meeting all day long. Am I right?
Oh,
Yes.
you're right, girl.
All right, so we're going to kick off with some housekeeping. We hope you all have your phones nearby because you can make a gift at any time during the program by texting to 41444. And you'll want to enter the phrase KZoo Go Red, no spaces, all in one word to make that gift. And we'll also have an open your heart opportunity to make an impact later in the program. Also, by viewing this event in the gallery view, you'll have the best presentation, and you can find this button near the top right of your screen. Lastly, be sure that your chat box is open because we'd love to have you share your comments and shout outs throughout this program. Just look for that chat icon on the bottom of your screen and click on it to open the chat box.
That's right. So next up, we've got a fundraising goal this afternoon because we know the power of giving together, whether it's great or small, makes a powerful difference. Southwest Michigan has always been such a generous community and one I am personally proud to be a part of. Look at this thermometer right now. Look at these names rolling across this screen. Let's watch this thermometer rise today. So remember, you can text the number 41444 and enter KZoo Go Red in order to make a contribution at any time. So that's today, that's after this event. Let's all rise up together and make a difference. So we're also going to continue to remind you throughout the event of how you can help that thermometer rise. But now we want to give a special thank you to our sponsors for supporting the work to build healthier lives for women in Southwest Michigan. CVS Health is our national sponsor. Thank you so much, CVS Health. Our presenting sponsor for today's program is Ascension Borges. You all know Ascension Borges is the longest continuous sponsor of Go Red for Women in Michigan, and they have been with us for all of the 17 years. Our local sponsors are Bell's Brewery, PNC Bank, State Farm Insurance, Sabrina Pritchett Evans Agency, and the Have Faith and Heart program is supported by the Kalamazoo Community Foundation. Our media sponsors are Moxie Magazine, FM 106.5, WKZO, and WOTV for Women. Thank you also to our Beyond the Table sponsors, our infant CPR training kit donors and silent auction donors who also helped make this event possible. Let's all give them a virtual round of applause and thank you.
Yes. So have you all seen the amazing items available for the silent auction? Here are just a few of the items available to the links that was sent to you. And you can view it on the event page and bid on these items until Monday at noon. Look at this. See? Look at this. Amazing 5-day trip.
Animal print is your jam, Morgan. I know you look good in that, girl.
No, I do. I might have to get in on that one, Cassie.
That's right. Oh, and speaking to my heart, backpack purses.
I know you're all over this one.
I need to know who's going after this with me. Drop it in the chat. What are you going after?
Yes.
And maybe we're coming for you.
We want to see it. Remember, you can place your bids now until Monday, so be sure to get in on that. There's some good items there. Don't want to miss out.
That's right. So while it's fun to think about the auction, we also know that during these challenging times, the work of the American Heart Association has never been more needed or urgent.
That's right. The AHA is committed to forging ahead because cardiovascular disease and stroke hasn't stopped due to COVID-19. As a matter of fact, even during these challenging times, heart disease remains the #1 cause of death for women, claiming the lives of 1 out of 3 women. And because of the pandemic, stroke and heart disease survivors are more vulnerable than ever before. But we are coming together today to be bold, to fight for healthier choices, and to live fierce. We are coming together to change history again. And we know it's been a very tough year since we've last met, but together, medical professionals, frontline workers, teachers, restaurants, churches, and even distilleries have banded together to fight something we hope to never see, COVID-19. And so right now, we'd like to take a special minute here to honor all of those who have been working so tirelessly to care for us all. So we invite you all to type in the chat box the names of your colleagues, family, friends who have stepped up to make a difference in the fight against COVID-19. And we're going to read some of these names out loud. So remember to select all panelists and attendees so we can see who you're honoring. Alexis Welsh, thank you so much for your service. We truly appreciate it. Keep those names rolling in, everyone.
Tracy Reese is one of mine. Clarence Lloyd is one of mine. Bertha Harris. We have Dr. Gupta.
Yeah.
Dr. Amber.
Angie.
Al's beautiful wife, Angie.
Yes. Dr. Raquel D. Rogers. Wanda Brown. Thank you all so much. Thank
Mary
you.
Bleeker, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, everyone. We really, truly appreciate it. And of course, we all love to see your smiling faces. This is Go Red for Women, of course. So we want to know, are you wearing red? We want to see your pictures. And we want to know who's the fashionistas out there. Dawn, we know you're in red, and Erin, we know you are too. Who else is wearing red today? Let us know. And also, how many of you have your furry friends joining us? Are they wearing red? We want to see those pictures. And we, of course, can't forget about the men out there. Does anybody have on a red tie, a red bow tie, collared shirt, or red socks? Don't be bashful. We want to see those pictures. So
Yes.
be sure to get all of your selfies in and share them to social media. You can use the hashtag KZooGoRed, and we'll grab all of your photos and make a fun event collage on our AHA Michigan Facebook page later on.
I posted my selfie earlier. I saw Amy's selfie earlier. So this is a challenge to the group. Get your selfies.
Yes.
So we mentioned our Circle of Red members earlier. Let's hear a little bit more about that.
I'm here to share the message that we love the women in our lives, our mothers, daughters, sisters, and friends, and that their health is important to us. For over 15 years, the American Heart Association has been leading the way to address the disparities in health for women. More women die of cardiovascular disease than men, 1 in 3 as a matter of fact. And Black women and Hispanic women are also disproportionately impacted by both cardiovascular disease and stroke. This is why PNC is involved as the American Heart Association's Circle of Red and Men Go Red sponsor again this year. The Circle of Red and Men Go Red are a group of men and women who are inspired to drive change, eliminate health inequity, and improve the heart and brain health for all women in our community. Circle of Red and Men Go Red members support the mission of Go Red for Women by making a personal financial commitment to the movement and using their voices to influence change. Thank you for being Go Red ambassadors and being true Kalamazoo stars. Want to help the fight against health inequities? You can make a difference by joining the Circle of Red Men Go Red movement. Membership begins at the $500 level support. In addition to personal contributions, Circle of Red and Men Go Red members have get-togethers and networking opportunities throughout the year. Some are virtual, but we hope to be in person in the near future. For all who have given today and prior to today's event, whether you opened your heart, purchased a silent auction item, or joined Circle of Red, we are truly grateful for your support. Every dollar counts, and we cannot do this work without you. Thank you.
That wonderful charm that you all just saw is the 2021 charm that will be sent very soon to all 2021 Circle of Red members. Did you all know that Kalamazoo has one of the largest memberships for Circle of Red in the nation? I mentioned that I was proud to be a part of this community earlier, and I am mimicking that again. I am proud to be a part of the Kalamazoo community, and especially this organization. We are so grateful for all of the members that are making a powerful impact in Southwest Michigan, and you can join today and be a 2021 Circle of Red member by giving at that $500 level in the Open Your Heart. So let's pause, shift gears, and if you are fighting a health battle right now, we want to honor you, the many other heart and stroke fighters who have joined us here today. So drop it in the chat. Let's remember our loved ones that we've lost to cardiovascular disease and stroke. And we hope that you find encouragement and strength by being here, knowing that you're making a difference. Now, let's hear a message from Dr. Vishal Gupta of Ascension Borges.
Welcome to American Heart Association Go Red meeting for 2021. I'm Dr. Vishal Gupta. I'm interventional cardiologist at Borges Heart Institute. As you all know, the pandemic of the novel coronavirus has impacted all our lives. At Ascension Borges, we are very proud to be at the front lines of taking care of sick and very sick patients with COVID-19. We've had our own casualties, and one of our very dedicated nurses, Miss Mary Bell, lost her life to it. I wanted to take an opportunity to thank her for the service to humanity that she has given her life to this, wonderful world. I also want to take this opportunity to talk about COVID-19 and heart disease. One of the questions that always comes up, can COVID-19 cause damage to the heart? The simple answer is yes. Although COVID is primarily affects the lung and it's a respiratory disorder. However, it can affect the heart due to lack of oxygenation or severe stress to the heart. It can also infect the heart muscle and cause severe inflammation, and it is called myocarditis. It can definitely mimic heart disease. Patients can have symptoms very similar to a heart attack, including chest pain, shortness of breath, and can lead to significant heart muscle damage without having a really heart artery blockage. In fact, 1 in 5 patients with this horrible condition will end up with some form of heart damage, even if they did not have significant breathing problems. Additionally, COVID-19 can cause very small blood clots. It can usually form in smaller arteries, but it also can form in larger arteries and can cause heart attacks, lung problems, and even strokes. I have personally taken care of a lot of patients who've had COVID infection. And in women, I've really seen 2 common themes after the COVID is gone. And usually it's women who come in with really high heart rates. They have difficulty maintaining a low heart rate, and when they walk or when they move around, they get short of breath, they're tachycardic, and that has been a significant problem. They also can have significant shortness of breath for a very long periods of time. And some of these patients, typically who have not taken measures to go to the doctor and maybe get steroids, end up with shortness of breath for a prolonged period, and they are known as long haulers. Now, women who are living with heart disease should definitely take steps to make sure that they see their doctors and stay safe. And if they have any symptoms of COVID-19, they should, get early or prompt care. Patients without known heart disease who get COVID-19 should also follow up with their primary care doctors. And it's likely that, their primary care doctors will get an ultrasound of the heart called echocardiogram to make sure the function of the heart is normal, especially if they have any shortness of breath or chest pain and other symptoms. Even in the pandemic, real heart attacks can still occur, and patients with signs and symptoms of heart attack should seek urgent medical care. Should not try to manage these symptoms at home. There has been a growing concern that people are delaying receiving prompt care for heart attack due to fear of contracting COVID-19 at the hospital. I can tell you that I've been in the hospital for the whole last year, and we've had very rare episodes where providers have got infections, or the patients in the hospital have been infected. So we've taken extreme precautions at Borges to make sure that none of our patients get infected. So just a reminder, heart problems show up differently in men and women. While men have, chest pains and symptoms of heart attack are quite typical, women can have really atypical symptoms like back pain, jaw pain, sometimes even stomach pain, and just shortness of breath. They can have lightheadedness or sudden fatigue. I would recommend that if you have symptoms like that, definitely seek, urgent care. And if you're really having signs and symptoms of heart attack or severe COVID symptoms, I would say call 911 and go get into the hospital. At Borges Heart Institute, we are dedicated to ensuring the health and safety of women living with or at risk of heart disease, especially who are vulnerable during this significant public health crisis. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gupta. Man, all of those signs and symptoms that we need to look for as women, because we don't have those traditional symptoms that men do. So I hope you're all paying attention, but it's recorded if not. So we're going to have some of our co-hosts drop in the chat where you can text to rise that thermometer to donate to the cause. And I'll share a little bit right now. When the world needed the American Heart Association science, donors made all of the difference. The AHA responded to the pandemic by, check this out, ladies, establishing a $2.5 million rapid research fund to better understand COVID-19, launched a free COVID-19 data registry for hospitals across the US to help treat current and future COVID patients, putting a focus on communities of need, improving access to care, providing proper nourishment and safe spaces to keep kids healthy and active.
That is absolutely amazing. But we know that our work is not over. There is much more to do because women continue to be disproportionately affected by heart diseases and stroke. And check this out. New research shows that heart attacks are on the rise in younger women, and studies also show that there has been a sharp decrease in awareness. More than half of African American women have heart disease, which is almost twice the risk of stroke than Caucasians, and they are more likely to die at an earlier age when compared to women of other ethnicities. And on average, Hispanic women are likely to develop heart disease 10 years earlier than non-Hispanics. The pandemic has revealed the harsh realities of disparities in health, and the AHA is leading the way to close these gaps.
And right on the screen right now is where you can text to give KZoo Go Red to 41444. So what has the AHA impacted locally? Just this month, the AHA launched Have Faith in Heart, working with the African American and Hispanic churches across Southwest Michigan to reduce heart disease and stroke. The AHA is working to control blood pressure in underserved communities. These two programs are currently funded by the Kalamazoo Community Foundation. And let's not forget our youth. The AHA is in over 100 Southwest Michigan schools, serving nearly 30,000 children and building healthier hearts.
That is fantastic. Now remember, we'll have a special open your heart moment later in the program, and we'll have some fun and watch that thermometer rise.
Now, we're excited to bring you a very special guest, locally sponsored by Bell's Brewery. For over 25 years, Chef Carol Ritchie has been a recipe developer and national volunteer spokesperson for the American Heart Association cookbooks. A traveling cooking instructor, she is the host of the cooking show Cooking with Carol and a 2001 James Beard Award nominee. She's appeared on PBS, QVC, and Cooking Live on the Food Network. Chef Carol, take it away.
Hi, I'm Carol Ritchie. I'm one of the recipe developers and a national volunteer spokesperson for the American Heart Association cookbooks. Today we have delicious grilled shrimp with salsa verde. It is from the Diabetes and Heart Healthy Meals from the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association. It's such a delightful, fresh recipe, easy to do, and I'll show you how it is. So here we go. We have shrimp that are peeled and deveined. And for the marinade, you just add a little vegetable oil, lemon juice, and garlic. You can chop your garlic or grate your garlic like I'm doing here. Really helps to make it nice and tender and delicious. All right. This gets covered and put into the refrigerator for about 10 minutes. It doesn't take long to marinate because it's so delicate in texture. So here we go. I put mine on wooden skewers that have been soaked for 30 minutes in cold water. This will just help them to come off the grill easy. And I will be serving these from the grill, so that'll be nice. So there we go. It only takes about 2 to 3 minutes on each side. So it just really makes it simple to cook for two with amazing fresh ingredients. And this sauce is incredible too that's going to go over it. You can use, by the way, I'm grilling here on an indoor grill pan. You can use your outdoor grill or just a grill pan skillet on the stove. But this one's very treasured to me. It's a very, I've used it for a long time. It is actually from a family member, and I actually used this at the National Center at the American Heart Association. As I recall, I was talking about how when you're grilling, that gives you great time to fit in fitness like knee bends or stretching. And I had everybody doing exercises with me. It was so much fun. So it's a very special grill for me. So here we go. So for the sauce, super simple. We have green onions. We have fresh cilantro, fresh mint, capers, which are a little salty and pickly in flavor. So you don't need a lot. We're adding jalapeno and a little bit of non-fat plain yogurt, water, the rest of the lemon juice, and the rest of the oil that's in the recipe. It's amazing how that little bit of yogurt just really heightens the flavor and helps the sauce to flow over the ingredients. So delicious. I love it. Okay, so I will take the food processor and just pulse it a bit to break it up. And then I'll let it run. I'll just need to scrape this down once or twice. When you use a smaller food processor, it makes it a little bit easier. I'm using my large one for this. In fact, I could have just doubled it and served it to my neighbors and family, which I probably will be doing very soon. That's the beauty of these recipes. You can double and triple them however you need. They're user-friendly. Everything's spelled out. When is it done? What is it supposed to look like? What are your portion sizes? It's really a joy to learn how to cook from any of the American Heart Association cookbooks because they just really are user-friendly. All right, there we go. Let's check our shrimp and see how it's doing. Oh boy, look at that. See how easy it is to turn when you have it on a skewer? Get the family involved. There we go. All right, we'll let that cook a little bit longer. I'm going to take this out of the food processor. Here's a little tip. When you have the blade in there, a little trick you can do is just take it off the base. You can put your finger right there to hold the blade in, and then you can just scrape around it. We have fresh ingredients in this little container, so I'm just going to put a little bit in here. So that's a neat little tip. There's so many cooks tips in all of our cookbooks. So much fun to do. Alrighty. Beautiful. It's making my mouth water. Well, as you can see, I want to show you something here. This kebab is nicely done. You can tell because the shrimp is curled, it is opaque, it's turned pink. This, as you can see, has a little bit of gray tint to it, and it's a little translucent. So that one's not quite done yet. So I'll put the sauce in the one that is finished so that you can at least see what it's going to look like. And oh, I hope your mouth is watering as much as mine is right now. Look at how pretty. What a special night to have a little date night with your sweetheart or your loved one or a family member and prepare this meal. So there you have it, the delicious grilled shrimp with a minced salsa verde. It is from the Diabetes and Heart Healthy Meals for Two cookbook from the American Heart Association and the American Diabetes Association. I'm Carol Ritchie, and I'm so honored to be with you here today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I hope all of your heart-healthy dreams come true.
I think we all can agree that our mouths are watering, and the timing of that video, Thank you, Chef Carol. Oh, now, if you are looking for an after-hours beverage pairing for that dish, like some of us might be, Larry Bell and staff recommend a Bohemian Pilsner or lager style that they say would go great with this dinner, and I trust it.
I trust it too, Cassie. That sounds so delicious and fantastic, and I'm going to have to try all of those recommendations. All right, so we're going to switch screens around here in a minute and change things back to the program. But have you ever looked at the American Heart Association's website for recipes? If you haven't, then you're definitely going to want to. So be sure to go to heart.org for numerous recipes, including some of Carol's fantastic inspirations. And at our past luncheons, we all know that we've met some people who have incredible stories, and we have another today. So let's hear from Amanda Colgate.
So my story really began as a young child. I can remember as early as probably 5 years old, just feeling these heart palpitations. And I would go to my mom and tell her, my heart just really feels like it's beating really hard and really fast, and it's kind of scaring me. Until she would tell me to just lay my head on her chest, and I'd listen to her heart, and I'd calm down, and eventually the palpitations would go away. I saw a pediatrician regularly as a child, and I was consistently told that I had a murmur, but that it was just an innocent murmur and nothing to worry about. As a teenager, I played sports all through school. I remember kind of feeling like I was just never very good at the cardio portion of sports. So if we had to, mostly at practice, if we had to run long distance or anything, I just didn't have the endurance for it. But I kind of just thought, like, that's my genetics, and that's not something that I'm meant to be good at. As a teenager, I went to the pediatrician, and I remember mentioning to them, I was still consistently having these heart palpitations, and sometimes it would happen with activity when I was playing sports. Sometimes it would just happen out of the blue. So the pediatrician listened to my heart and essentially said the same thing. I do hear a murmur. It's an innocent murmur. Everybody can have palpitations once in a while. It's probably nothing. And I became an adult and went to nursing school,
In nursing school, I remember noticing palpitations pretty frequently, and I thought, I'm just overdoing it. This program is difficult. I'm stressed and doing too much. I need to just relax, find a way to help with my anxiety, and that'll ease these irregularities. And then I went on and became pregnant with my oldest child. And really early on during that pregnancy, like as early as probably 8 to 10 weeks, I started noticing the palpitations were far more frequent. I went to my OB appointment and I mentioned to him, I've always had these palpitations since I was a child. I've been told I have an innocent murmur and that, that there's nothing to worry about, but they're far more frequent now that I'm pregnant and I'm just getting a little bit concerned. Essentially say, this is probably something innocent. We'll keep an eye on it. If things seem to get worse, then, we can look further into it, but I don't anticipate that this is anything dangerous for you. I carried on the pregnancy. I did notice a lot of swelling in my feet and ankles, and it was more than I had anticipated, but it was my first pregnancy, so I didn't really have anything to compare to. I ended up delivering a healthy baby boy, and a few years later, I became pregnant with my second child. The same situation happened. Early on in the pregnancy, I noticed these palpitations really becoming more frequent. It is happening again, and it just kind of makes me nervous. I'm a little bit scared about this. I want to make sure that you're healthy, and I want to make sure that this pregnancy goes well. So I'm going to send you to a cardiologist for a referral. So I went and saw a cardiologist for the first time. The cardiologist listened, said something very similar in fashion, that I do hear a murmur. I don't necessarily suspect that it's going to be much of anything, but I would like for you to get an echo. And I remember just feeling suspicious that something was a little more than what they had anticipated during that procedure. And he explained to me that I had an atrial septal defect. My cardiologist at the time explained to me that you have a hole in the wall that separates the upper chambers of your heart. This hole is allowing blood to flow in directions that we don't really want blood to be flowing, and it's essentially causing your heart to work extra hard and has been for your entire life. This is something that you were born with, and unfortunately something that will need to be surgically repaired. Due to my pregnancy at the time, I wasn't able to have it done right away. I had to be monitored closely during my pregnancy. I delivered a second healthy baby boy. Unfortunately, a couple of weeks after that delivery, my husband was deployed unexpectedly. So I moved out of state to be closer to family. Along with that move came the task of finding a new cardiologist who would be able to perform this procedure to repair my ASD. And that's when I met Dr. Gupta. Dr. Gupta saw me and looked over my case and said, you know what, this is a pretty large ASD, but I think I can do this with a catheter. So instead of having to have open heart surgery, Dr. Gupta was able to use a catheter through my groin to put this device in that would close the hole eventually on my heart. That was I can't even describe what a relief that was to me. I had a 2-year-old and a newborn at home, and I wanted to be able to take care of them and be with them. And, having any sort of heart surgery is scary. It's not something that you anticipate happening to yourself in life. And, that was a big, big relief for me to know that I wasn't going to have such an invasive procedure done. Dr. Gupta did an amazing job, and life has been very different ever since. The changes that I was able to see after having the procedure and having time to heal were extremely significant to me. And I think a lot of the symptoms that I had throughout my life, really, I didn't know were symptoms because I didn't know any different. This is how my body had always felt. So I noticed after having the procedure that I had a lot less fatigue. I had kind of constantly been tired prior to having the procedure done, but I was able to, basically blame that on other things in life. I had a toddler. I was pregnant. I was in nursing school. All of these factors that I was able to say, it's nothing. It's just that. To be able to see after that wasn't the case, that it was probably likely related to my cardiac issues. I went from being someone who, my husband's in the Army. I wanted to be active with him. I wanted to run. I enjoyed playing sports and, doing very physical things that I just never felt terribly capable of doing. We would run together and I would quit like not far in and say, I just can't do it. After having the procedure, I am able to run much further distance. I enjoy running in a different fashion. It doesn't feel the same as it felt to me then. And I've just been able to enjoy physical activity a lot more than I ever have. After the procedure was complete, several months went by. My husband came home from deployment. We got pregnant with our third baby, and I had a much different pregnancy. I was able to enjoy it and loved being pregnant instead of worrying about the health of myself or my child. I delivered a third healthy baby boy. If I had the opportunity to speak to women that are in a similar situation to what I was, the number one thing I would tell them is to please trust your gut. If you think that something is wrong with your body, odds are something is wrong with your body. You know your body best. You're the only one able to feel the things that you're feeling. You can describe these things to a healthcare provider and they can have the best of intentions, but you know yourself best. Trust your gut and speak up.
Wow, wasn't her story incredible? Thank you, Amanda, so much for sharing with us. I'm Sherry Welsh, President and CEO of Welsh & Associates, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. Amanda's story was so heartwarming and just touching at the same time to know the struggle that she went through for years with that. And Dr. Gupta, you are a hero. Wow. We're glad you're here, all of you as participants. By coming together today, we are really making a difference. And I hope you know that and feel that. We're giving people hope for cures today. And we're working in our most vulnerable communities to increase awareness. But you know what? We really need your help to do even more. You can open your heart and make a gift today at whatever level is meaningful to you. Every dollar you give has the power to change lives. Your gift at every level can make a significant impact. But let me give you a couple suggestions on what you might want to consider as a donation. So maybe you can give $500. What's significant about that? Well, stroke is the number 5 killer in Michigan, with African American and Hispanic women being disproportionately affected by stroke. And you can become a Circle of Red member at this level for just $500. How about 250? Can you give 250? Here's the significance there. Women make up 50% of the workforce, but 25% of STEM careers. We got to do better than that. The AHA is committed to making sure that women are represented in STEM careers and research. How about $130? Can you give that? What's significant about 130? Well, 1 in 3 women will die from heart disease, and more women are experiencing heart attacks even younger. How about $56? Can you give 56? Why is that number meaningful? Well, 56% of Black women in the United States suffer from hypertension, the highest rate for women in the world. We're really grateful for your support because by coming together, we're making history. You are making a difference in the lives of women and building healthy lives for all women across our community. So how do you do this? You're seeing some things on the screen right now. You can text to give at 41444 and enter the phrase Kazoo Go Red, and there you go, you're dialed in. You can also send in a donation to the Grand Rapids address that's on the website. I think that will be showing here pretty soon. You can go to the website online at heart.org. That's heart.org/Kalamazoo Go Red and select donate. One more time, that's heart.org/Kalamazoo Go Red and select donate. Or text to give Kazoo Go Red to 41444.
Thank you so much, Sherry. And thank you all for your donations and the donations that are going to be coming in. And, you know, I think that statement, one life lost is one too many, is so true, because behind every number is a person with family and loved ones. So let's take a quick look at that thermometer again and watch these donations run through. Let's see. Wow.
Hey, I see my girl Nancy Turtle. Thank you, Nancy.
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Susan.
Y'all, I just gave up Starbucks for a week and took that money and gave it to Go Red. I don't need the Starbucks anyways. Sherry Welsh, thank you for leading Open Your Heart. I saw Monica Lloyd on there. She just gave. Alicia Gibson, Jamie Flees, Courtney, Deanne, you guys, look at the thermometer rising. I'm so proud of the work and the effort that we're doing together to make that thermometer rise.
Thank you, Carrie.
Avril, thank you so much. Nancy, Kim, this means so much. And remember that any amount matters. It makes an impact for sure.
Thank you, Susan.
Thank you, Lynn. All right, everyone. We are so thrilled to bring you this next national speaker. Dr. Michelle Albert is the first woman president of the Association of Black Cardiologists. She's a professor in medicine, associate dean of admissions, director of the Nurture Center at the University of California, San Francisco. Dr. Albert is also a recipient of an American Heart Association's COVID-19 research grant. Please help us welcome Dr. Michelle Albert.
Hi, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be with you today on this celebration of women and heart disease. My journey towards medicine and towards cardiovascular medicine specifically started a long time ago. Although I'm not that old, I got interested in medicine and cardiovascular medicine after the sudden death of my grandfather. I was raised by my grandparents. And one day, while at home, one of our neighbors came to advise us that my grandfather had collapsed. That was a very devastating experience for our entire family, but especially for myself and my sister. I was at the time 15 years old. It was actually a year before I came to the United States. I was born and raised until the age of 15 in Guyana in South America, which is in between Brazil and Venezuela. It is considered the second poorest country in the Western Hemisphere. That experience really was, as mentioned, pretty frightening, very devastating. I had already in school been thinking about how I could potentially direct my energies towards being involved more in science and public health. Because as well, growing up in Guyana, I had a front row seat to poverty, to disadvantage, to poor healthcare. While at the same time, the desire for the population was to have all the things that others might have in their health and well-being, as well as finances. So I began to turn my energies towards thinking about pursuing a career in medicine, because to me, a career in medicine was one that could tie my interest in health, could honor my grandfather, as well as have potentially public health impact. I came to the United States and went to Brooklyn, New York, where my family still resides. In fact, Brooklyn at the time, with regards to walking through the streets of East Flatbush, which is where I had moved to, was not that different than being in parts of a third world country from which I'd come, except that there was a highway of access to certain opportunities. So I then attended actually the worst high school in Brooklyn at the time. So it is with this context and background and having a lived experience of exposure to need, to underserved environments that set the pathway for me to pursue my passions. I went on to college and then successfully went on to medical school and successfully went on to residency. I attended medical school in upstate New York at the University of Rochester, which at the time I didn't realize the impact that the medical education that I received at that institution would have on the rest of my choices in medicine, especially as it relates to my research choices. So after leaving Rochester, I went back to New York City, where I was internal medicine resident at Columbia University in New York, and was privileged enough to be selected as one of the chief medical residents at Columbia at the time, which was a great honor and continues to be a great honor. I fondly remember my experiences there because as a house officer, you had the opportunity to take care of very, very needy patients, very, very complex patients. That's where I learned how to be a doctor. And that's where I learned how to be an excellent doctor. You also had the opportunity to take care of, as well, the top 1% in this country and if not globally. So again, having this front row opportunity to see these differences where on one hand, poverty, underserved populations, and on another hand, being able to have the opportunity to take care of leaders. I was lucky enough to match in cardiology fellowship at Brigham and Women's Hospital and Harvard Medical School. And I went on to Boston, where I spent the next 15 years of my career which is the place I've spent the longest at this point. In Boston, I had the opportunity to work on a women's health study, which is one of the largest studies and one of the first largest studies to examine cardiovascular risk in women. And indeed, it is within that context again, I began to have the opportunity to explore cardiovascular risk in women, cardiovascular risk by race, ethnicity, and how they relate to biomarkers, including things like C-reactive protein, fibrinogen, homocysteine, genetic polymorphisms, and how they predict risk in women. So, because as you know, as an audience, heart disease is the #1 killer globally. It is also the #1 killer of women. 1 in 3 people will die from cardiovascular disease. 1 in 2 people who look like me, that is Black, will die from cardiovascular disease, heart attacks, and strokes. And so these are all things, remembering my grandfather again, that are themes that have come through my career. I have had the opportunity through hard work, good mentorship, to be able to develop a research career dedicated to health equity, particularly as it relates to women and underrepresented groups, as well as different racial and ethnic groups in this country. I was then recruited to Howard University in Washington, D.C. to be their chief of cardiology, where I spent time there working with amazing residents and house officers who were so thirsty for knowledge, who looked like me. So very, very important experience. From there, I got recruited to University of California in San Francisco, where I now serve as a professor in medicine and the admissions dean for the medical school, which under a million years, I would have never thought that I would be the admissions dean for a top 3 medical school in the United States of America. That is not something that would have never have crossed my mind. Being able to help select, from a leadership perspective, the next generations of physicians, epidemiologists, public health folks who can and will make a difference globally is, I consider, extremely important. At UCSF, I also serve as the director of the Center for Study of Adversity and Cardiovascular Disease. The acronym is the Nurture Center. Our interdisciplinary center seeks to look at the interplay, again, of biology with social factors to, again, continue to elucidate cardiovascular risk, but most importantly, a large throughput of what we do is to think about and work on interventions for the most disadvantaged. In fact, I'm honored to have been selected for 3 HA awards recently. This was all recent. One is the 2018 Merit Award, which is given to 2 researchers across the country. In other work, another project that got funded this year was one of the recipients of the Fast Track COVID-19 Award from the American Heart Association. This is an extremely emotional award for me, because at the time that the call went out for the applications, my mother was hospitalized with COVID-19, and thinking to myself, and I was crying as I was trying to coordinate from San Francisco, getting her to a hospital in New York where I knew that she'd have a chance at survival. These are decisions none of us should have to make. I am one of the lucky ones in that my mother survived. The work and the project at the time, and ongoing now, is to examine the relationship COVID-19, socioeconomic factors, and cardiovascular outcomes in Black women. Black women often exist at the absolute worst intersection of social and economic factors, which put us at extremely high risk of continuing to be victims. However, we're a resilient bunch. And in my circumstance, God has put me and given me the opportunity to be able to work within the inner halls of medicine, hopefully to be able to make ever such small steps of change. The most important, though, thing to me is the opportunity I have to help mentor the next generation, because there's always a next generation. But I also think about you and the message that I want to give to you, which are: one, know your numbers. And what we mean by know your numbers is know your cholesterol levels, know your blood pressure, know your hemoglobin A1C, which is a measure of control for diabetes over time. Know your weight, know your hip circumference, because these are all things and all factors that give you and give all of us a viewpoint into our heart health. And we know that recent research is showing several things. One, women, especially younger women, are less aware of their risk for heart disease. I take this heartfelt opportunity to wish all of you the very best and to literally beg you to continue to serve. So I thank you so much for this opportunity to be able to speak with you today.
Wow, wasn't that incredible? Thank you so much, Dr. Elbert. You are amazing, and your career path is inspiring, and we appreciate all of your heartfelt advice. Let's all offer Dr. Elbert a huge virtual applause. All right, and now let's welcome back Tish Anderson, our current chair, who graciously agreed to also chair for
My
the
world.
Kalamazoo Go Red for Women event.
We're near the end of our Go Red program for 2021. There has been a lot of information to take in during this event. The overarching message we hope you hear clearly is that the American Heart Association is working to make sure that everyone in Southwest Michigan has an opportunity to live a full, healthy life. That local, inclusive impact is supported by the national organization. Recently, the AHA announced their 2024 impact goal, which has been strategically developed based on the latest science and data. Every person deserves the opportunity for a full, healthy life. As champions for health equity, by 2024, the American Heart Association will advance cardiac health for all, including identifying and removing barriers to healthcare access and quality. And you can be part of this change. Be bold. Create opportunity even in challenging times. Fight for healthier lifestyles for ourselves and our families, and help build a healthier community for all. Next year, we hope to see you all in that glorious sea of vibrant red in person again. I'd like to thank our See You Next Year sponsors for already committing to the 2022 Go Red program. Thank you, Ascension Borges, Bell's Brewery, Consumers Credit Union, and many Circle of Red members. Thank you again to all our generous sponsors and volunteers. And thank you to everyone who gave in support of Go Red for Women today. Want to get more involved with our mission? Reach out to the American Heart Association staff and learn about volunteer opportunities now, or join our event team for Go Red 2022. I'd like to leave you with this final video.
My world, our world may keep changing, but I'm not going to let the days blur together anymore. This is my awakening. No backing down, no matter the obstacle. I stand for those who make up the fabric of my life, where I come from and where I'm going. I stand for my loved ones and for myself. My mission is to change the word challenge to opportunity. And my goal is to live without limitations. Let's make a declaration together. Our future has no boundaries, no limits, no ceilings. I'm opting in, signing up, and raising my voice. Today is the day I recommit to my shine, to reaching out and digging deep for inspiration, to shouting out loud when I need help and when I can give it, to ensure that all of our voices are heard and the person behind each voice is served. For myself, for my community, for our health, and for so much more. Because my promise is to live fierce every day. There's strength in possibility, strength in numbers, and new opportunities are going to keep on coming. With the American Heart Association by my side, I'm ready for them. Because we live fierce.